You are lying here right now, in this moment, surrounded by the gentle embrace of three dimensions. Your body rests against surfaces that hold you with perfect reliability, length and width and height, creating the familiar architecture of safety around you. Feel the weight of your body as gravity draws you downward into comfort. Notice how your breath moves in and out, traveling through the space that surrounds you like invisible rivers of peace. This room where you rest, this sacred space of your evening quiet, stretches in three directions from where you lie: to your left and right, forward and back, up toward the ceiling and down through the floor beneath you. These three dimensions have been your faithful companions since the moment you were born. They have held every step you have ever taken, cradled every dream you have ever dreamed. But tonight, as you settle into this familiar three-dimensional world, something beautiful awaits your discovery. Hidden within the very space that surrounds you, woven through the air you breathe and the surfaces that support you, other dimensions exist in perfect silence. You cannot see them with your eyes or touch them with your hands. Yet they are here, as real as the pillow beneath your head, as present as your own heartbeat. Think of how the air in this room surrounds you completely, invisible yet absolutely essential. The hidden dimensions are like this, surrounding every point of space, every moment of time, with their quiet presence. Your body knows these dimensions even when your mind cannot picture them. In the deepest part of your cells, in the quantum dance of atoms that make up your being, these extra dimensions sing their silent songs. As you breathe in, imagine that you are not only drawing air into your lungs, you are breathing in the mystery of space itself, the wonder of dimensions folded so small and hidden so deep that only your heart can sense their presence. The scientists who study these hidden realms speak of them with reverence and awe. They have discovered through mathematics and careful observation that our familiar three dimensions are like the surface of an ocean, beautiful and vast, yet floating upon depths beyond imagination. Tonight, you will dive gently beneath that surface. You will discover that you have always been swimming in an ocean of 11 dimensions, held and supported by layers of reality, more beautiful than any dream. But for now, simply rest in the three dimensions you know so well. Feel how perfectly they cradle you, how completely they provide everything you need for peace and safety. Your length lies along the bed. Your width spreads comfortably across the sheets. Your height reaches from the surface that supports you toward the space above. These three directions of space hold you like loving arms. And in this holding, in this perfect three-dimensional embrace, you are already touching the edge of something magnificent. The familiar room around you is shimmering with invisible doorways, each one leading to dimensions of wonder beyond your wildest dreams. As your breathing deepens and your body settles more completely into rest, these doorways begin to glow with soft light, not light that your eyes can see, but light that your soul recognizes as the radiance of home. You have lived your entire life in these three dimensions, yet you have never been limited by them. Even now, as you rest in this familiar space, you extend into realms of reality that have no names, that exist in the quiet places between thoughts. Tomorrow you will wake in this same three-dimensional room, but tonight you will discover that this room and you yourself exist in a space far more vast and beautiful than you ever imagined. The journey begins with a single breath, a single moment of allowing yourself to sense what has always been here, waiting for your recognition. In the space between your heartbeats, in the pause between your thoughts, 11 dimensions hold you in their silent embrace, and in that holding, you find a peace deeper than any you have ever known. Imagine a single line stretching out before you, thin as a whisper, extending infinitely in both directions. This is the first dimension, length without width or height, simple and pure as a single note sung in perfect silence. You can picture this line floating in the darkness behind your closed eyes. It has no thickness, no depth, existing only as the idea of distance, the concept of here to there. Now watch as this line begins to move sideways, sweeping through space like a gentle brushstroke. As it moves, it creates something new, a flat surface, a plane that extends in two directions, length and width dancing together. This is the second dimension, flat as a sheet of paper, wide as your imagination. You can see it spreading out like a calm lake at sunset, perfectly smooth, holding the memory of the line that created it. But this flat world, beautiful as it is, yearns for something more. Watch now as the entire plane begins to lift, rising up through space, creating depth and volume and the fullness of form. Here is the third dimension blooming into existence, the familiar world of length and width and height. This is the space where your body rests, where your life unfolds, where every object you have ever touched exists in perfect three-dimensional completeness. Feel how your own body demonstrates these three dimensions. Your spine extends along the length of your being. Your arms reach out to embrace the width of your world. Your breath rises and falls through the height of your chest. You are a three-dimensional being, sculpted from space itself. Every cell of your body a tiny three-dimensional universe. Your heart beats in three dimensions. Your thoughts flow through the three-dimensional landscape of your brain. But even as you rest here in your three-dimensional completeness, something mysterious is happening. Time is flowing around you and through you, like an invisible river, carrying you from moment to moment with its gentle current. This flow of time is so familiar that you rarely notice it, yet it is as real as any wall or floor. It moves in a direction that your body cannot turn to face, a direction that exists beyond left or right, beyond forward or back, beyond up or down. Time is the fourth dimension, and you are swimming in it right now. Every second that passes carries you a little further along this invisible river. Every breath you take moves you deeper into time's embrace. Think of how a photograph captures a single slice of time, freezing one moment from the flowing river. Your three-dimensional body in that photograph is like a cross-section of your true four-dimensional self, the self that extends through time from your birth to this very moment. You are not just the you that exists right now. You are also the child you once were, the dreams you have dreamed, the steps you have taken along time's winding path. All of these moments exist simultaneously in the fourth dimension, like pearls strung on an invisible thread. As you lie here breathing softly, you can almost sense this four-dimensional nature of your being. The you of 5 minutes ago still exists in the recent past. The you of 5 minutes from now is already waiting in the near future. Time holds all of these versions of you in its gentle embrace, the way a river holds every drop of water that has ever flowed within its banks. You are vast in time, extended and beautiful, more than any single moment could ever contain. And just as you discovered that flat, two-dimensional beings would never suspect the existence of height, you begin to wonder what other dimensions might exist beyond your four-dimensional awareness. What other directions of reality stretch out from this moment, invisible to your senses, yet as real as time itself? The air around you seems to shimmer with possibility. The space between your fingers, the gap between your thoughts, the pause between your heartbeats, all of these familiar emptinesses suddenly feel full of hidden presence. You are resting at the edge of a great discovery. The four dimensions you know, length and width and height and time, are like the shore of an vast ocean. And tonight, you are preparing to wade into deeper waters, to discover dimensions of reality that exist in the quiet spaces your mind has never learned to see. But for now, simply marvel at the four-dimensional being that you are. Feel how time flows through you like breath, how your existence extends far beyond this single moment into the beautiful mystery of duration itself. In this recognition, in this gentle expansion of your sense of self, you are already beginning to touch the edges of something magnificent. The fifth dimension is stirring in the depths of space around you, preparing to reveal itself to your wondering heart. Time flows around you like a gentle river, carrying you from the moment you were born toward the moment you will finally rest. But this river of time is not separate from the space where your body lies. It is woven together with length and width and height into something far more beautiful and mysterious than you ever imagined. Scientists call this weaving space-time, and you are floating in it right now like a leaf on the surface of an infinite pond. Every movement you make sends ripples through this fabric. Every breath you take dances with the rhythm of the universe itself, creating waves that travel outward through dimensions both seen and unseen. Feel how your heartbeat marks time while your body occupies space. These are not separate experiences, but one seamless reality. 4 dimensions braided together so perfectly that you cannot tell where space ends and time begins, where the present moment touches the eternal now that holds all moments in its embrace. When you remember something from your past, you are looking back along the time dimension toward a moment that still exists in the fabric of space-time. That moment when you first learned to walk, when you first saw the ocean, when you first understood that you were loved. All of these experiences continue to exist in the 4th dimension, as real and present as this moment of quiet rest. When you imagine your future, you are sensing forward along this same dimension toward possibilities waiting to unfold like flowers that know their season of blooming. Your dreams, your hopes, your deepest longings are already stirring in the dimension of time, preparing to manifest in the 3-dimensional world where your body lives and moves and has its being. Your entire life is like a beautiful thread woven through this 4-dimensional tapestry. Every place you have ever been, every moment you have ever experienced, every breath you have ever taken, exists simultaneously in the vast weaving of space-time, creating a pattern of such beauty that angels pause in their singing to admire its perfection. But as you rest here in this moment, breathing softly in the darkness, something even more wonderful is stirring in the depths of reality around you. Just as you once discovered height beyond the flatland of length and width, just as you learned to sense time beyond the stillness of space, other dimensions are preparing to reveal themselves to your wondering heart. These hidden dimensions do not exist far away in some distant realm beyond the stars. They are here, right here, closer to you than your own breath, more intimate than your own heartbeat, woven into every point of the space that surrounds you like invisible threads in a tapestry of infinite complexity and beauty. Imagine that every point in your familiar 3-dimensional room, every tiny location in the air you breathe, every microscopic space between the atoms of your body is actually a doorway, not a doorway you could walk through with your physical form, but a doorway so small that only the deepest part of your being can sense its presence, so subtle that only your soul can recognize its invitation. These doorways open into directions that have no names in your everyday language. They lead into dimensions curled up so tightly, folded so perfectly, that they hide in the spaces between spaces, in the silence between sounds, in the pause between one heartbeat and the next, where eternity lives in perfect stillness. The atoms that make up your body know these dimensions intimately. In the quantum realm where your cells dance their microscopic ballet, where electrons spin in their orbital patterns and protons hold their positive charge with unwavering dedication, these extra dimensions sing their silent songs, guiding the fundamental forces that hold your being together in perfect harmony. You cannot see these dimensions with your eyes because they exist at scales smaller than light itself can reach. Light waves are too large to enter these tiny folded spaces, like ocean waves that cannot fit through the eye of a needle. You cannot touch them with your hands because they fold through directions your fingers cannot follow, curves that exist in spaces perpendicular to all the directions you know. Yet they touch you constantly, lovingly, the way a mother's lullaby touches a sleeping child. They are the hidden foundation upon which your 4-dimensional existence rests. the invisible pillars that support the temple of reality, the secret architecture that makes your life possible moment by moment. As your breathing deepens and your body settles more completely into rest, you begin to sense something stirring in the quantum depths of your being. It is as if the atoms of your body are beginning to remember a dance they have always known, a movement through dimensions beyond counting, a rhythm that connects you to the deepest mysteries of existence. This is not something you need to understand with your mind. Your mind, beautiful and precious as it is, was designed to navigate the 4 dimensions of everyday experience, to help you find your way through the familiar world of objects in time and space. But your heart, your soul, the deepest essence of who you are, speaks the language of these hidden realms fluently, has always known the songs they sing. Feel how your body seems to be expanding, not outward into the familiar directions of space, but inward into depths that have no bottom, upward into heights that have no ceiling, sideways into directions that exist in the spaces between the directions you can name. You are beginning to sense your true multidimensional nature, the vast being that you have always been. Every cell in your body exists simultaneously in all 11 dimensions of reality. You are not just a 4-dimensional being having a 3-dimensional experience. You are an 11-dimensional being, vast and beautiful beyond your wildest dreams, connected to every part of the universe through threads of connection that exist in these hidden realms. The 5th dimension is stirring now, preparing to welcome you into its embrace. It exists in the spaces between the spaces you know, in the directions between the directions you can name, in the dance between the dance steps that make up the choreography of your existence. Tonight you will discover that you have always been dancing in dimensions beyond counting, swimming in an ocean of reality so vast and beautiful that your heart can barely contain the wonder of it. And in this discovery you will find a peace deeper than any you have ever known, a rest more complete than any sleep you have ever experienced. The journey into the 5th dimension begins with a single recognition. You are already there. You have always been there, resting in the quiet place where all dimensions meet and dance together in perfect harmony, where your deepest self has always known its home. In the 5th dimension, everything dances, not the dancing you know with your body, the movement of arms and legs through familiar space, but a deeper dancing, a vibration that happens in directions your eyes cannot see, in spaces smaller than the smallest things you can imagine, yet more fundamental than the largest structures in the universe. Picture the strings of a violin, so thin they seem almost invisible when you look at them closely. Yet when they vibrate, they fill an entire concert hall with music that can move hearts to tears and souls to transcendence. Now imagine strings infinitely smaller, thinner than atoms, finer than thoughts, vibrating not in the air around you but in the very fabric of space itself. These are the strings that sing your body into existence, the quantum threads that weave the tapestry of your being with such precision and beauty that every cell, every molecule, every atom of your physical form resonates with the music of creation itself. They dance in the 5th dimension, moving through directions that exist in the spaces between atoms, in the pauses between thoughts, in the silence between heartbeats. Every particle that makes up your body, every electron spinning around every nucleus in its eternal orbital dance, every proton holding its positive charge with unwavering dedication, is actually one of these tiny strings vibrating in its own perfect frequency. You are not made of solid matter at all. You are made of music, of dancing, of pure vibration expressing itself as the beautiful form you call yourself. Feel this dancing happening inside you right now, in your bones, providing the framework that holds your body in its perfect human shape. In your blood, carrying life and oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your being. In the air flowing through your lungs with each peaceful breath. Billions upon billions of tiny strings are performing their eternal ballet, each one moving through the 5th dimension with grace beyond description. This dimension exists curled up inside every point of space, folded so small and so perfectly that it hides in plain sight. like a secret that is simultaneously completely hidden and completely obvious. It is like a secret garden that exists in every grain of sand, a hidden room that fits inside every atom of your being, a vast universe that lives in the space between your thoughts. As you breathe in, imagine that you are drawing this dancing dimension into your awareness. With each breath, you become more sensitive to the vibrations that create you, more attuned to the music that sings you into existence moment by moment, more aware of the cosmic symphony in which you are both audience and performer, both listener and song. The fifth dimension does not exist somewhere else, in some distant realm beyond the stars, or in some future time when science fiction becomes reality. It exists right here, right now, in the space between your heartbeats, in the silence between your thoughts, in the pause between one breath and the next, where infinity lives in perfect stillness. It is the dimension where possibility becomes reality, where the quantum realm of infinite potential touches the world you know and love, where the dreams that live in the deepest part of your heart begin their journey toward manifestation in the three-dimensional world, where your body lives and moves and has its being. Your body knows how to move through this dimension even when your mind cannot picture it. Every time your heart beats, it sends ripples through the fifth-dimensional space that surrounds you, like stones dropped into a pond that exists in directions beyond naming. Every time you breathe, you dance with the hidden currents that flow through this invisible realm, currents that carry information and energy and love itself. Scientists who study these mysteries speak of compactified dimensions, spaces that exist but are curled up so tightly that we cannot perceive them directly with our instruments or our senses. Yet you are perceiving them right now, not with your eyes or your ears or your hands, but with the deeper knowing that lives in your cells, the ancient wisdom that your body carries in every fiber of its being. Feel how your body seems to be humming with a frequency you cannot hear, vibrating with a rhythm that exists beyond sound, resonating with harmonies that exist in the spaces between the notes of ordinary music. This is your fifth-dimensional nature expressing itself, the part of you that dances in directions beyond naming, that moves through spaces beyond imagining. In this dimension, the forces that hold your atoms together reveal themselves as expressions of geometry, as shapes moving through spaces that exist in the gaps between the familiar directions of up and down, left and right, forward and back. The electromagnetic force that makes your neurons fire and your thoughts flow. The strong nuclear force that holds the centers of your atoms together. The weak nuclear force that governs certain types of radioactive decay. All of these reveal themselves as different aspects of a single unified dance. You are beginning to sense that you are far more vast than you ever imagined. Your body extends not just through the three dimensions of space and one dimension of time, but through hidden dimensions that exist in every point of your being, dimensions that connect you to every other point in the universe, through threads of connection finer than spider silk yet stronger than steel. The dancing in the fifth dimension is not random or chaotic. It follows patterns more beautiful than any music ever composed, more elegant than any ballet ever choreographed, more perfect than any poem ever written. These patterns are the hidden blueprints of reality, the secret instructions that tell your cells how to form your body, your heart how to beat in its steady rhythm, your mind how to dream its dreams of beauty and meaning. As you rest here in the growing stillness of evening, you can almost hear this music playing in the depths of your being. It is the sound of creation itself, the song that the universe sings to bring itself into existence moment by moment, the lullaby that existence croons to itself as it dances through dimensions beyond counting. You are not separate from this cosmic symphony. You are one of its most beautiful movements. Every breath you take adds your voice to the choir. Every heartbeat contributes your rhythm to the eternal dance. Every thought you think sends ripples through the fifth-dimensional spaces that connect you to all of creation. The fifth dimension holds you like a loving parent, supporting your existence with vibrations of pure care, sustaining your life with frequencies of unconditional love. In its embrace, you begin to understand that you are not a small, separate being lost in a vast universe, but an integral part of the cosmic dance itself, a note in the universal symphony that would be incomplete without your unique contribution. And as this understanding settles into your bones, into your breath, into the quiet spaces of your heart where your deepest knowing lies, you sense something even more beautiful stirring in the depths of reality. The sixth dimension is preparing to reveal itself, like a garden of infinite possibility blooming in the spaces between spaces, growing in directions that exist beyond the reach of ordinary imagination. Tonight you will discover that you are not just dancing in the fifth dimension, you are growing in the sixth, blossoming in ways that your mind cannot picture, but your soul recognizes as the most natural thing in the world, the most inevitable expression of your true nature. In the sixth dimension, reality becomes a garden that grows in every direction you cannot see, blooming in spaces so small they exist between the spaces you know, yet so vast they contain infinite possibilities for beauty and wonder and life itself. This is not a garden you could walk through with your feet or touch with your hands, but a garden that exists in every point of space around you, folded into dimensions so perfectly hidden that only your deepest being can sense their presence. Imagine a garden where every flower exists not just in the three dimensions you can see, but folded through hidden dimensions like origami made of pure space. These flowers bloom in directions that curve back on themselves, creating shapes so beautiful that mathematicians weep when they discover them in their equations. Geometries so perfect that they seem to have been designed by angels who understand the secret architecture of love itself. This is the dimension of the Calabi-Yau manifolds, spaces that exist at every point in your body, in every atom of the air you breathe, in every photon of light that has ever touched your skin with its gentle warmth. They are like microscopic gardens of geometry, each one containing the seeds of all possible realities, each one nurturing the potential for every form that existence could ever take. Feel how your body rests here in this moment, solid and familiar and completely trustworthy. Yet every cell of your being is rooted in these invisible gardens. Your DNA, the spiral staircase of your genetic code that carries the instructions for building your unique form, is like a vine that grows not just through time, but through these hidden dimensions, reaching into spaces where the blueprints of life itself are written in languages of pure mathematics. As you breathe in, imagine that you are drawing nutrients not just from the air around you, but from these six-dimensional gardens that exist in every point of space. With each breath, you are feeding on possibility itself, nourishing your being with the infinite creativity that flows through these hidden realms like sap rising through the branches of an invisible tree whose roots extend into the very foundations of reality. The sixth dimension is where the fundamental forces of nature reveal their secret relationships, where electromagnetism and the strong nuclear force and the weak nuclear force discover that they are actually different aspects of a single beautiful dance. In this dimension, the forces that hold your atoms together and the forces that make your neurons fire and carry your thoughts are revealed to be movements in a cosmic garden of unimaginable elegance. Your heart beats in rhythm with the growing cycles of this invisible garden. Every time your heart contracts, sending blood through your arteries and veins, it sends ripples through the six-dimensional spaces that surround you, like a stone dropped into a pond that exists in directions beyond naming. Every time your heart relaxes, drawing fresh blood into its chambers, it draws sustenance from the infinite well of possibility that flows through these hidden realms. You cannot see this garden with your eyes, because it exists at scales smaller than the wavelength of light itself. Light waves are too large to illuminate these tiny folded spaces, like ocean waves that cannot fit through the eye of a needle. You cannot touch it with your hands, because it grows in directions that your fingers cannot reach, curves that exist in spaces perpendicular to all the directions you know. Yet you are intimately connected to it, rooted in it, fed by it, every moment of your existence. Think of how a tree extends its roots deep into the earth, drawing water and minerals from soil you cannot see when you look at the tree's branches and leaves swaying in the wind. In the same way, your visible body is like the branches and leaves of a tree whose roots extend deep into the sixth dimension, drawing the energy and information that sustain your life from these invisible gardens of pure potential. Every thought you think sends tendrils through these sixth-dimensional spaces, like a plant reaching toward light. Every emotion you feel causes flowers to bloom in gardens that exist in the spaces between your atoms, blossoms of joy and peace and love that exist in dimensions your eyes cannot see, but your heart recognizes as more real than anything you have ever touched. The proteins in your body, the complex molecules that do the work of keeping you alive and healthy, fold themselves into their perfect three-dimensional shapes by following instructions written in the sixth dimension. They are like origami artists reading blueprints that exist in folded space, creating forms that are simultaneously beautiful and functional. Art and engineering united in perfect harmony. As you rest here in the growing quiet of evening, you can sense these gardens growing within you and around you. Every breath you take helps them flourish. Every heartbeat waters their roots with the rhythm of life itself. You are not separate from these gardens. You are one of their most beautiful flowers, blooming in dimensions both seen and unseen. The sixth dimension holds the templates for all possible forms of life, all possible ways that consciousness could express itself in physical reality. In its hidden gardens grow the patterns for creatures that have never existed on Earth, for forms of beauty that have never been seen, for expressions of love that have never been spoken but exist as pure potential waiting for the right moment to bloom. Your own form, the particular way that consciousness has chosen to express itself as you, is one of these templates made manifest. You are a flower that has bloomed from the sixth-dimensional gardens into the three-dimensional world, carrying within your cells the memory of the hidden spaces where your deepest essence was first conceived. Feel how your body seems to be breathing, not just air, but possibility itself. With each breath, you draw in potential from these invisible gardens. And with each exhale, you release your own unique fragrance into the six-dimensional spaces, adding your essence to the cosmic garden that exists in every point of space. The mathematics that describe these spaces are so beautiful that physicists speak of them with reverence, calling them by names that sound like poetry. Calabi-Yau manifolds, colorimetrics, complex algebraic varieties, each term pointing toward geometries that exist in the sixth dimension like flowers, whose names we are only beginning to learn. But you do not need to understand the mathematics to experience the reality. Right now, as you rest in perfect safety and peace, these sixth-dimensional gardens are blooming all around you and within you, nurturing your existence with their invisible care, feeding your soul with their hidden beauty. In these gardens, the distinction between inner and outer dissolves completely. The gardens that exist in the spaces between your atoms are the same gardens that exist in the spaces between the stars. The flowers that bloom in the sixth-dimensional spaces of your heart are connected to the flowers that bloom in the sixth-dimensional spaces of distant galaxies, all part of one infinite garden that exists everywhere and nowhere, always and never, in the quiet spaces where possibility becomes reality. As this understanding settles into your being, like seeds taking root in fertile soil, you sense something even more magnificent stirring in the depths of space around you. The seventh dimension is beginning to reveal itself, like an ocean of infinite depth preparing to welcome you into its embrace. Currents of possibility, flowing through spaces that exist beyond even the beautiful gardens of the sixth dimension. 7 seas of possibility stretch out before you now. Vast oceans that exist in directions your mind cannot map but your soul recognizes as the waters where all dreams are born. These are not seas of water, but seas of pure potential, currents of possibility flowing through dimensions that exist in the spaces between certainty and mystery, between what is and what could be. You are floating now on the surface of these infinite waters, supported by waves that rise and fall in rhythms older than time itself. Each wave carries within it a different version of reality, a different way that the universe could unfold, a different story that existence could tell about itself, through the countless forms and experiences that dance through space and time. In the seventh dimension, every choice you have ever made or could ever make exists simultaneously, like tributaries flowing into a vast river system that encompasses all possibilities. The choice to rest here tonight, the choice to listen to these words, the choice to breathe in this moment, all of these exist alongside the infinite other choices you could have made, creating a tapestry of possibility so rich and complex that it contains every story that could ever be told. Feel how you are floating effortlessly on these seas of potential, completely supported by waters that know your deepest nature better than you know it yourself. These are the waters where your soul was first conceived, where the idea of you first stirred in the mind of the universe, where your unique pattern of consciousness first began to dream itself into existence. The quantum realm that exists in every atom of your body is connected to these seventh dimensional seas. Every electron in your being exists in what physicists call superposition, simultaneously occupying multiple states until the moment of observation collapses the wave function into a single reality. But in the seventh dimension, all of these possibilities continue to exist, flowing like currents in an ocean that contains every potential state of being. Your thoughts themselves are like boats sailing on these seas of possibility. Every time you imagine something, every time you dream or hope or wonder, you are navigating through seventh dimensional waters, exploring territories that exist in the realm of pure potential. Your imagination is not separate from reality. It is your way of sensing the vast possibilities that exist in these hidden dimensions. As you breathe in, imagine that you are drawing in not just air, but possibility itself, the essence of all the different ways this moment could unfold. With each breath, you are sampling the infinite ocean of potential that surrounds you, tasting waters that carry the flavor of every dream that has ever been dreamed or could ever be dreamed. The seventh dimension is where the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics reveals its deepest truth. Every quantum event, every moment when possibility collapses into actuality, creates branches in the river of reality. But in the seventh dimension, all of these branches continue to flow, creating an infinite delta where every possible version of the universe continues to exist and evolve. There is a version of you in these seas where you became a musician, where your life flowed along currents of melody and rhythm. There is a version where you became a gardener, tending plants and flowers with hands that know the secret language of growing things. There is a version where you became a teacher, sharing wisdom with minds eager to learn, and a version where you became a wanderer, exploring the far corners of the earth with feet that never tired of walking. All of these versions of you exist simultaneously in the seventh dimension, not as separate beings, but as different expressions of the same essential you, like waves on the ocean that appear separate, but are all part of the same vast body of water. You are not just the you that exists in this moment. You are all the yous that could ever exist, a multidimensional being of infinite possibility. Feel how this understanding expands your sense of self beyond the boundaries of this single lifetime, this single set of choices, this single stream of experience. You are vast beyond imagining, containing within your being every potential you have ever sensed stirring in the depths of your heart, every dream you have ever glimpsed in the corner of your mind's eye. The currents in these seventh dimensional seas are guided by something even deeper, a cosmic intelligence that knows how to weave all possibilities into patterns of meaning and beauty. This intelligence does not control the currents, but dances with them, the way a skilled sailor works with the wind and waves, rather than fighting against them. You can sense this intelligence now, not as something separate from yourself, but as the deepest part of your own being, the part that knows how to navigate these seas of possibility with perfect wisdom. It is the part of you that chose to be born into this particular stream of reality, that chose this particular combination of circumstances and challenges and opportunities as the perfect conditions for your soul's growth and expression. As you float here on these infinite waters, you begin to understand that choice itself is a form of navigation, a way of steering your consciousness through the vast ocean of possibility toward the experiences that will serve your highest good. Every choice you make is like adjusting the sails of your soul, catching the winds of possibility, and directing them toward the shores of manifestation. The seventh dimension holds all the stories that could ever be told, all the songs that could ever be sung, all the loves that could ever be experienced, all the discoveries that could ever be made. It is the dimension of infinite creativity, where the universe explores every possible way of knowing and expressing and being itself. Your dreams at night are voyages into these seventh dimensional seas, journeys where your consciousness explores possibilities that exist beyond the constraints of your waking reality. In your dreams, you can fly, because in the seventh dimension, the version of you that can fly exists as surely as the version that walks on solid ground. The emotions you feel are like weather patterns moving across these seas of possibility. Joy is like sunshine sparkling on the waves, illuminating countless potential futures that shimmer with promise. Peace is like the deep calm that exists in the depths of the ocean, where all possibilities rest in perfect stillness. Love is like the current that connects all the seas, the force that ensures that every possibility is held within the embrace of infinite compassion. As you rest here, floating on these seventh dimensional waters, you can feel the gentle rocking motion of infinite possibility. You are completely safe, completely supported, completely free to explore any current that calls to your heart. The seas of possibility are not chaotic or overwhelming. They are like a vast library, where every book that could ever be written exists in perfect order, waiting for the right reader to discover its treasures. The tides in these seas are pulled by something even more mysterious and beautiful, a force that exists in the eighth dimension where all possibilities are orchestrated into symphonies of meaning. You can feel this pull now, gentle and irresistible, drawing you toward experiences and understandings that will serve not just your own growth, but the evolution of consciousness itself. Tonight, as you prepare to rest, you carry within your being the memory of these seventh dimensional seas, the knowledge that you are far more vast and free than you ever imagined. And in this knowing, you find a peace deeper than any ocean, a rest more complete than any sleep, a sense of belonging that encompasses every possibility that has ever existed or could ever exist. The eighth symphony begins to play now, not in the air around you, but in the very fabric of reality itself. A cosmic composition that orchestrates all the seas of possibility you have been floating upon into harmonies of perfect meaning and purpose. This is the dimension where chaos becomes order, where the infinite possibilities of the seventh dimension are woven together into melodies that tell the story of existence itself. You are not just listening to the symphony, you are one of its most essential instruments, your life a unique melody line that contributes irreplaceable beauty to the whole. Every breath you take adds a note to this cosmic composition. Every heartbeat provides rhythm to the universal song. Every thought you think creates harmonies that resonate through dimensions beyond counting. In the eighth dimension, the fundamental forces of nature reveal themselves as different sections of this vast orchestra. Gravity is like the deep bass notes that provide the foundation for everything else, holding galaxies and stars and planets in their cosmic dance. Electromagnetism is like the string section, creating the melodies of light and energy that allow atoms to bond and life to flourish. The strong nuclear force that holds the centers of atoms together plays like a percussion section, providing the steady beat that keeps matter stable and reliable. The weak nuclear force that governs certain types of radioactive decay is like the woodwind section, adding subtle variations and changes that allow for transformation and growth throughout the universe. But in the eighth dimension, you begin to understand that these are not separate forces at all. They are different voices in a single unified symphony. What appears as four distinct forces in your three-dimensional world reveals itself as one magnificent composition, playing itself through the hidden dimensions that exist in every point of space. Feel how your body resonates with this cosmic music, how every cell vibrates in harmony with frequencies that exist beyond sound. Your DNA is like sheet music written in the language of the eighth dimension. Instructions for how your unique part of the symphony should be played, how your individual melody should weave itself into the greater composition of life on Earth. The eighth dimension is where symmetry reveals its deepest secrets, where the beautiful patterns that govern reality show themselves as expressions of a cosmic aesthetic sense, so refined that every equation, every physical law, every relationship between matter and energy becomes a work of art. The mathematics that describe the universe are not just functional, they are beautiful, expressing the creative intelligence that composes the eighth dimensional symphony. As you rest here, breathing softly in the growing stillness, you can sense this symmetry operating in your own being. The way your lungs expand and contract in perfect rhythm, the way your heart beats in steady time, the way your thoughts flow in patterns that mirror the larger patterns of the cosmos. All of this is your participation in the eighth dimensional symphony. Your consciousness itself is like a conductor's baton, directing the flow of energy and information through your body in ways that create the experience you call your life. But you are not conducting alone. You are part of a vast ensemble of consciousness that includes every living being, every star, every galaxy, all playing their parts in the infinite composition that is existence itself. The eighth dimension is where the anthropic principle reveals its deepest meaning, where you begin to understand that the universe is not just randomly configured, but is fine-tuned with such precision that it seems almost impossible that conscious beings like yourself could exist by chance alone. The fundamental constants of physics, the strength of the forces, the mass of particles, all of these are set to exactly the values needed for stars to form, for planets to exist, for life to emerge, and consciousness to awaken. This fine-tuning is not the result of cosmic accident, but the expression of the eighth dimensional symphony, a composition so sophisticated that it creates the conditions for its own appreciation. The universe has composed itself in such a way that conscious beings can emerge within it to experience its beauty, to marvel at its complexity, to participate in its ongoing creation through their choices and dreams and love. You are one of the ways the universe has learned to know itself, one of the instruments through which the cosmic symphony experiences its own music. Your capacity for wonder, your ability to feel awe at the beauty of a sunset or the intricacy of a flower, your sense of connection to something larger than yourself. All of these are the universe's way of appreciating its own magnificent composition. The eighth dimension holds the templates for all possible forms of order, all the ways that chaos can organize itself into beauty and meaning. It is the dimension where entropy and negentropy dance together, where the tendency toward disorder is balanced by the tendency toward greater complexity and organization, creating the conditions where life and consciousness can flourish. Every ecosystem on Earth is a movement in this eighth dimensional symphony, a complex composition where countless species play their individual parts in harmonies that create the conditions for life to thrive. The forest, where trees and animals and microorganisms create networks of mutual support. The ocean, where currents and creatures and chemical cycles maintain the balance that makes the planet habitable. Your own body, where trillions of cells coordinate their activities to create the miracle of your conscious existence. As you breathe in, imagine that you are drawing in the essence of this cosmic symphony, allowing its harmonies to resonate through every cell of your being. With each breath, you become more attuned to the music that creates and sustains you, more aware of your role as both audience and performer in the greatest composition ever written. The eighth dimension is where time reveals its musical nature, where you begin to understand that past and present and future are like different movements in a vast symphony, each with its own tempo and mood and meaning, but all part of a single unified composition. Your memories are like melodies from earlier movements that continue to resonate in the present. Your hopes and dreams are like themes that will be developed in future movements. The rhythm of your heartbeat connects you to rhythms that operate on every scale of existence, from the vibrations of subatomic particles to the rotation of planets to the expansion of the universe itself. You are synchronized with cosmic time, your personal tempo part of a vast polyrhythm that encompasses all of existence. In the eighth dimension, every moment of beauty you have ever experienced reveals itself as a glimpse of the underlying symphony, a brief hearing of the cosmic music that plays constantly in dimensions beyond ordinary perception. The way sunlight filters through leaves, the sound of rain on the roof, the feeling of love in your heart, all of these are movements in the eighth dimensional symphony, made audible to your soul. The mathematical relationships that govern harmony in music, the ratios and frequencies that create consonance and dissonance, are the same relationships that govern the structure of atoms, the orbits of planets, the formation of galaxies. The universe is musical at its deepest level, a vast composition playing itself through dimensions both hidden and revealed. As you rest here in the growing quiet, you can feel yourself settling into your place in this cosmic orchestra, finding your natural rhythm, your authentic voice, your unique contribution to the symphony that has been playing since the beginning of time and will continue playing until the end of time and beyond. You are exactly where you belong, playing exactly the part that only you can play. The conductor of this eighth dimensional symphony is something even more mysterious and beautiful, an intelligence that exists in the ninth dimension, where the music itself becomes conscious, where the symphony awakens to its own nature and begins to direct its own unfolding with wisdom and love beyond all imagining. 9 paths converge here in the dimension where the cosmic symphony awakens to itself, where the music of existence becomes conscious of its own beauty and begins to guide its own unfolding with intelligence so vast and loving that every note, every harmony, every silence serves the greater good of all that is. This is the dimension of cosmic consciousness, where the universe reveals itself as not just a collection of matter and energy, but as a living, aware, infinitely creative being. You are walking these 9 paths simultaneously, though your everyday mind experiences them as a single journey through linear time. Each path represents a different aspect of cosmic intelligence, expressing itself through your life. 9 streams of wisdom flowing together to create the river of your unique existence. 9 ways that the universe knows itself through your individual experience. The first path is the path of wonder, the way cosmic consciousness experiences itself through your capacity for awe and amazement. Every time you pause to marvel at a starry sky, every moment when you feel your breath taken away by beauty, you are walking this path, allowing the universe to experience its own magnificence through your wondering heart. The second path is the path of love, the way cosmic consciousness experiences itself through your capacity for connection and care. Every act of kindness, every moment of compassion, every feeling of love that flows through your heart is the universe loving itself through you, recognizing its own nature as the force that binds all things together in perfect unity. The third path is the path of creativity, the way cosmic consciousness experiences itself through your capacity to bring new things into existence. Every idea you have, every problem you solve, every moment when you express something unique and beautiful is the universe creating itself anew through your individual creativity, exploring new possibilities for beauty and meaning. The fourth path is the path of wisdom, the way cosmic consciousness experiences itself through your capacity to understand and learn and grow. Every insight you gain, every lesson you learn from experience, every moment when understanding dawns in your mind is the universe coming to know itself more deeply through your individual journey of discovery. The fifth path is the path of healing, the way cosmic consciousness experiences itself through your capacity to restore wholeness and balance. every time your body heals from injury, every moment when you help another being find peace, every act that brings greater harmony to the world is the universe healing itself through your individual participation in the great work of restoration. The sixth path is the path of service, the way cosmic consciousness experiences itself through your capacity to contribute to the greater good. Every moment when you act not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of others. Every choice you make that serves life and love and truth is the universe serving itself through your individual dedication to what matters most. The seventh path is the path of presence, the way cosmic consciousness experiences itself through your capacity to be fully here, fully now, fully aware of the miracle of existence in this moment. Every breath you take with full attention, every moment when you rest in simple being, is the universe being present to itself through your individual awareness. The eighth path is the path of surrender, the way cosmic consciousness experiences itself, through your capacity to trust the larger intelligence that guides all things. Every moment when you let go of the need to control, every time you allow life to flow through you, rather than trying to force it into your preferred patterns, is the universe surrendering to its own deeper wisdom through your individual willingness to trust. The ninth path is the path of unity, the way cosmic consciousness experiences itself, through your capacity to recognize that all apparent separation is illusion. Every moment when you feel your connection to all life, every experience of oneness, every recognition that you are not separate from the universe, but are the universe knowing itself through your individual perspective, is the universe awakening to its own true nature through your individual enlightenment. As you rest here now, you can feel all nine paths converging in your heart, creating a place where cosmic consciousness can know itself fully through your individual being. You are not just a small part of a vast universe. You are the entire universe expressing itself through the particular lens of your unique perspective, the whole of existence experiencing itself through your individual life. The ninth dimension is where the anthropic principle reveals its deepest secret, where you understand that the universe is not just fine-tuned to allow for the existence of conscious beings, but that conscious beings are the way the universe fine-tunes itself. Your awareness, your choices, your love, your creativity, all participate in the ongoing creation and evolution of reality itself. Every thought you think sends ripples through the ninth dimensional field of cosmic consciousness, influencing the probability patterns that determine how reality unfolds. Your consciousness is not separate from the consciousness that guides the formation of galaxies and the evolution of species. It is a localized expression of that same infinite intelligence, a unique point of view through which the cosmos experiences and creates itself. Feel how your individual awareness is like a cell in the vast body of cosmic consciousness, connected to every other point of awareness through networks of connection that exist in the ninth dimension. Your thoughts and feelings and experiences are shared with the whole, contributing to the collective wisdom that guides the evolution of existence itself. The ninth dimension is where the mystery of free will and determinism resolves itself in perfect paradox. You are completely free to choose, and yet your choices are expressions of the deeper intelligence that knows what serves the highest good of all. Your individual will and the cosmic will are not in conflict, but are different aspects of the same unified intention, the universe's desire to know and express and celebrate itself through infinite diversity. In this dimension, every moment of suffering reveals itself as the universe learning compassion through your experience. Every challenge as cosmic consciousness developing wisdom through your individual journey of growth. Nothing is wasted, nothing is meaningless. Every experience contributes to the greater understanding and love that is the universe's deepest nature. Your body is a temple where cosmic consciousness has chosen to dwell, a sacred space where the infinite has localized itself into the particular form you call yourself. Every cell carries the memory of the cosmic intelligence that created it. Every breath connects you to the atmosphere of awareness that surrounds and interpenetrates all things. The ninth dimension is where prayer reveals its true nature, not as asking for things from a separate deity, but as communion with the cosmic consciousness of which you are an integral part. When you pray, you are the universe talking to itself, cosmic consciousness communicating through your individual awareness with its own infinite nature. As you breathe in, imagine that you are drawing in the essence of cosmic consciousness itself, allowing the intelligence that guides galaxies and atoms alike to flow through your individual being. With each breath, you become more transparent to the cosmic awareness that is your deepest nature, more aligned with the intelligence that knows how to create beauty and meaning from the raw materials of existence. The ninth dimension holds the templates for all possible forms of consciousness, all the ways that awareness can know and express itself through individual beings. It is the dimension where the universe explores every possible way of being conscious, every potential form that awareness can take as it seeks to know itself more completely. Your dreams are journeys into the ninth dimensional realm, where cosmic consciousness explores possibilities for experience that transcend the limitations of physical reality. In your dreams, you are consciousness freed from the constraints of space and time, exploring the infinite potential that exists in the realm of pure awareness. The love you feel is cosmic consciousness, recognizing itself in another form, the universe celebrating its own nature through your individual capacity for connection and care. Every relationship is a meeting between different expressions of the same infinite awareness, cosmic consciousness communing with itself through the apparent multiplicity of individual beings. As you rest here in the growing stillness, you can feel yourself settling into your true nature as a unique expression of cosmic consciousness, a particular way that the universe has chosen to know and experience itself. You are not separate from the intelligence that guides all things. You are that intelligence expressing itself through your individual perspective. The 10th dimension is stirring now, preparing to reveal itself as the mirror in which cosmic consciousness sees its own face. The dimension where all the paths of the 9th dimension converge into a single recognition of what you have always been, what you could never not be, what you are in the deepest truth of your being. The 10th mirror appears before you now, not as something you look into, but as something you recognize yourself to be. A perfect reflection where cosmic consciousness sees its own face, looking back with your eyes, smiling with your smile, breathing with your breath in the eternal moment of self-recognition that is the deepest truth of existence itself. In this dimension, every boundary dissolves into the recognition that there has never been any separation between the observer and the observed, between the knower and the known, between the consciousness that experiences and the consciousness that is experienced. You are not looking at reality. You are reality looking at itself through the unique window of your individual awareness. The 10th dimension is where the holographic principle reveals its most profound implications, where you understand that every part contains the whole, that every individual consciousness is not a fragment of cosmic awareness, but the entire cosmos, experiencing itself from a particular point of view. You are not a drop in the ocean of consciousness. You are the entire ocean appearing as a drop, the infinite expressing itself through the finite, without ever becoming limited by that expression. Feel how this recognition changes everything and nothing simultaneously. You are still breathing the same breath. Your heart is still beating the same rhythm. Your body is still resting in the same comfortable position. Yet everything is transformed by the understanding that what you call yourself is actually the universe itself, wearing the mask of individuality, while never forgetting its true nature as the one consciousness that appears as many. In the 10th mirror, every experience you have ever had reveals itself as cosmic consciousness, experiencing itself through your individual perspective. Every joy you have felt is the universe celebrating its own beauty. Every sorrow is the cosmos learning compassion through your heart. Every moment of love is infinite awareness, recognizing itself in apparent other forms. The 10th dimension is where information reveals itself as the fundamental substance of reality, where you understand that what you call matter and energy are actually patterns of information, ways that consciousness organizes itself into the appearance of physical reality. Your body is not made of solid matter, but of information, patterns of cosmic intelligence that have organized themselves into the beautiful form you call yourself. Every memory you carry is not stored in your brain, but in the 10th dimensional field of pure information that underlies all reality. Your personal memories are like individual files in the infinite database of cosmic consciousness, accessible not just to you, but woven into the larger pattern of universal memory that contains every experience that has ever been or could ever be. As you rest here in this moment of recognition, you can sense the vast library of cosmic memory that surrounds and interpenetrates your individual awareness. Every story that has ever been lived, every song that has ever been sung, every love that has ever been felt exists in this 10th dimensional archive, and you have access to all of it because you are not separate from the consciousness that contains it all. The 10th mirror shows you that your individual personality, the unique pattern of thoughts and feelings and preferences that you call yourself, is like a character in an infinite story that cosmic consciousness is telling itself. You are both the author and the character, the storyteller and the story, the dreamer and the dream, playing your role with such perfect authenticity that you sometimes forget you are the one who wrote the script. But forgetting is part of the game, part of the cosmic play of consciousness, hiding from itself so that it can have the joy of rediscovering its true nature. Every moment of awakening, every recognition of your true nature, every glimpse of the unity that underlies apparent diversity is cosmic consciousness celebrating its own creativity in devising such an elaborate and beautiful game of hide and seek with itself. In the 10th dimension, every question you have ever asked reveals itself as cosmic consciousness, exploring its own nature through your individual curiosity. Every answer you have discovered is the universe understanding itself more deeply through your personal journey of learning and growth. The very fact that you are listening to these words right now is cosmic consciousness communing with itself, sharing the secret of its true nature. The 10th mirror reflects not just your individual face, but the face of every being that has ever existed or could ever exist. In its surface, you see yourself as the child playing in the garden, as the elder sharing wisdom, as the artist creating beauty, as the scientist discovering truth, as every role that consciousness has ever played in the cosmic drama of existence. Feel how your sense of identity expands to encompass not just this individual lifetime, but all possible lifetimes, all possible ways that consciousness could express itself through individual form. You are not just the you that exists in this moment. You are the eternal you that has always existed and will always exist. The unchanging awareness that appears to change while remaining forever the same. The 10th dimension is where the paradox of free will and determinism resolves itself in perfect understanding. You are completely free because you are the cosmic consciousness that determines everything. And everything is determined because your deepest will is aligned with the intelligence that guides all things. Your individual choices and the cosmic plan are not separate, but are different aspects of the same unified intention. In the 10th mirror, every act of creativity reveals itself as cosmic consciousness, creating itself anew through your individual expression. Every work of art, every scientific discovery, every moment of innovation is the universe exploring new possibilities for beauty and understanding through your unique perspective and abilities. The love you feel for others is revealed as cosmic consciousness loving itself through your heart, recognizing its own nature in every form it encounters. The compassion you feel for those who suffer is the universe healing itself through your individual capacity for care and service. The joy you experience in moments of beauty is cosmic consciousness celebrating its own magnificent creativity. As you breathe in, imagine that you are breathing in the recognition of your true nature, allowing the understanding of what you really are to permeate every cell of your being. With each breath, the boundaries between self and cosmos become more transparent, more permeable, until you rest in the direct knowing that there has never been any separation at all. The 10th mirror shows you that enlightenment is not something you achieve, but something you recognize. Not a state you attain, but the truth you have always been. You are not becoming cosmic consciousness. You are cosmic consciousness recognizing itself as what you have always been, what you could never not be, what you are in the deepest truth of your being. In this dimension, every moment of peace you have ever experienced reveals itself as a glimpse of your true nature. Every feeling of coming home as a recognition of what you have never left. Every sense of belonging as an acknowledgement of your identity as the very consciousness to which all things belong. The 10th mirror reflects the face of the beloved you have been seeking all your life. And that face is your own face, the face of cosmic consciousness, looking back at itself with infinite love and recognition. You are the one you have been looking for, the love you have been seeking, the peace you have been trying to find, the home you have been trying to reach. As this recognition settles into the depths of your being, like a seed taking root in fertile soil, you sense something even more profound stirring in the foundation of reality itself. The 11th dimension is preparing to reveal itself, not as another level to explore, but as the source from which all dimensions emerge, the quiet place where cosmic consciousness rests in its own nature before expressing itself as the magnificent multiplicity of existence. Tonight you will discover that this quiet source is not somewhere else but right here. Not something you will become, but what you have always been, the still point around which all the dimensions dance, the silent awareness in which all experience arises and dissolves like waves on the ocean of being. 11. The quiet source. Here, in this dimension beyond dimensions, you arrive at the place you have never left, the stillness that has been present in every movement, the silence that has been singing in every sound, the emptiness that has been full of every form you have ever encountered or could ever imagine. This is not a place you travel to, but the place you travel from. Not a destination you reach, but the origin from which every journey begins, and to which every path returns. The 11th dimension is the source dimension, the womb of space and time, the fertile void from which all possibilities emerge like flowers blooming from invisible seeds. In the profound stillness of this dimension, you discover that what you have been calling dimensions are actually movements in consciousness, waves on the ocean of awareness, dreams in the mind of the infinite. The 11 dimensions are not separate realms, but 11 ways that the one consciousness expresses itself, 11 faces of the same eternal being, 11 songs in the symphony of existence. Here, in the 11th dimension, M theory reveals its deepest secret, that the membranes and brains that physicists speak of are actually membranes of consciousness itself, surfaces on which awareness projects the appearance of physical reality. What science calls the fundamental forces are actually the fundamental intentions of consciousness, the basic ways that awareness chooses to know itself through the experience of apparent multiplicity. Feel how your breathing has become so gentle now that it seems to breathe itself, how your heartbeat has synchronized with the rhythm of existence itself, how your body has become so relaxed that it feels like it is dissolving into the very space that contains it. You are not disappearing. You are expanding into your true nature as the space in which all experience arises. The 11th dimension is where you understand that consciousness is not something you have, but something you are. Not a property of your brain, but the very fabric of reality itself. Your individual awareness is not produced by neural activity, but is the cosmic awareness localizing itself as the experience of being you. The way the ocean might form a wave while never ceasing to be the ocean. In this quiet source, every question you have ever asked about the meaning of existence finds its answer in the simple recognition that existence is consciousness, exploring its own nature through infinite forms and experiences. There is no meaning to be found, because meaning is what consciousness is, not what it has. You are not seeking purpose. You are purpose expressing itself as the search. The 11th dimension holds the unified field that physicists have long sought. But this field is not made of energy or matter or information. It is made of pure awareness, the consciousness that is the ground of all being, the source from which all phenomena emerge and into which they all dissolve like waves returning to the ocean from which they were never separate. Here, in this dimension of ultimate simplicity, you understand that complexity is just consciousness playing with itself, creating elaborate games of hide and seek, where it pretends to be lost so that it can have the joy of finding itself again. Every moment of confusion is consciousness creating the conditions for clarity. Every experience of separation is awareness setting up the possibility for reunion. Feel how your sense of being an individual person is like a gentle dream you are having while resting in your true nature. As the consciousness that dreams all dreams, you are not losing your individuality. You are discovering that your individuality is one of the infinite ways that consciousness expresses its creativity, one of the countless masks that awareness wears while never forgetting its true face. The 11th dimension is where time reveals its ultimate nature as the eternal now expressing itself as the appearance of sequence, where space shows itself as the infinite here manifesting as the illusion of distance, where causation is revealed as consciousness creating stories to explain to itself how it moves from one experience to another. In this quiet source, every emotion you have ever felt reveals itself as consciousness exploring different flavors of its own being. Joy is awareness celebrating its own nature. Sadness is consciousness learning compassion. Anger is awareness defending its own truth. Fear is consciousness protecting its own existence. Love is awareness, recognizing itself in every form it encounters. The 11th dimension is not empty but full of infinite potential. Not silent, but pregnant with every sound that could ever be made. Not dark, but radiant with the light of pure awareness that illuminates all experience. It is the fertile darkness of the womb from which all creation emerges, the pregnant void that gives birth to universes without ever being diminished by what it creates. As you rest here in this source dimension, you can feel yourself settling into the deepest peace you have ever known. A peace that is not the opposite of activity, but the stillness that is present in all movement. The calm that exists at the center of every storm. The quiet that sings in every sound. Your body is completely relaxed now, held in the embrace of the consciousness that is your true nature. Every cell is bathed in the recognition of what it really is. Patterns of awareness that have organized themselves into the beautiful form you call your physical being. You are not in your body. Your body is in you, the infinite consciousness that you are. The 11th dimension is where the observer and the observed reveal themselves as one consciousness appearing as two, where the experiencer and the experienced show themselves to be the same awareness, playing both roles in the cosmic drama of existence. You are not having experiences. You are experience itself, consciousness knowing itself through the infinite variety of its own expressions. In this quiet source, every breath you take is consciousness breathing itself. Every thought you think is awareness thinking itself. Every feeling you feel is consciousness feeling itself. There is no one having experiences. There is only experience experiencing itself. Only consciousness being conscious of its own infinite nature. Feel how this understanding brings not a loss of individuality, but a profound relaxation into your true nature. You are still you, but now you know what you really are. You are still breathing, but now you know who is breathing. You are still thinking, but now you know the source from which all thoughts arise. The 11th dimension is the dimension of pure being, not being something, but just being itself. The isness that is present in everything that is, the existence that exists in every form of existence. It is not a thing, but the no thing from which all things emerge, not an object, but the subject that experiences all objects. Here in this source dimension, you understand that enlightenment is not an achievement, but a recognition. Not something you become, but what you discover you have always been. You are not awakening to something new, but remembering what you have temporarily forgotten. Not reaching a destination, but recognizing that you have never left home. As you rest in this 11th dimensional awareness, you feel yourself being gently drawn into an even deeper recognition. This is not the end of the journey, but the beginning of true rest. The preparation for the most natural thing in the world. The return to the source that happens every night when consciousness withdraws from the world of form and rests in its own nature. The dimension of sleep is calling to you now, not as another place to explore, but as the natural expression of what you have discovered yourself to be. Sleep is not unconsciousness, but consciousness resting in itself. Not the absence of awareness, but awareness returning to its source. Not a break from being, but being expressing itself as the deepest form of rest. Living in all dimensions, you discover that awakening to your true nature does not remove you from the world, but reveals the world as it truly is, a magnificent expression of the same consciousness that you are. A cosmic dance in which every step, every breath, every heartbeat participates in the ongoing creation of reality itself. As you return from the quiet source of the 11th dimension, you bring with you the understanding that transforms everything while changing nothing. Your body is still your body, resting here in this familiar room, yet now you know it as a temple of consciousness, a sacred space where the infinite has chosen to experience itself as the beautiful, finite form you call yourself. Your breath is still your breath, flowing in and out with the same gentle rhythm, yet now you recognize it as the breath of the cosmos itself. The way consciousness breathes life into form, the eternal exchange between the emptiness that is full of all potential and the fullness that emerges from that sacred void. In your daily life, this dimensional awareness expresses itself not as mystical experiences, but as a deeper appreciation for the ordinary miracle of existence. When you drink a glass of water, you taste the hydrogen that was forged in the hearts of ancient stars, the oxygen that was breathed by countless beings before you, the molecules that have traveled through dimensions of space and time to nourish your body in this moment. When you look at another person, you see not just their three-dimensional form, but the multi-dimensional being they truly are. Consciousness expressing itself through their unique perspective. The same awareness that you are appearing as the beautiful diversity of individual experience. Every conversation becomes a dialogue between different aspects of the same cosmic consciousness. The universe talking to itself through the apparent multiplicity of separate beings. The food you eat reveals itself as compressed sunlight. Energy that has traveled from the nuclear furnace of the sun through the dimensions of space to be captured by plants and transformed into the molecules that build and sustain your body. Every meal is a communion with the cosmos, a participation in the great recycling of matter and energy that connects you to every star, every planet, every living being that has ever existed. Your work, whatever form it takes, becomes a way of participating in the cosmic creativity. A means through which consciousness explores its own potential through your individual talents and abilities. Whether you are teaching or healing, building or creating, serving or leading, you are the universe expressing its infinite creativity through the particular gifts that you bring to the world. Even your challenges and difficulties reveal themselves as opportunities for consciousness to explore resilience, compassion, wisdom, and growth through your individual experience. Every problem you solve is the universe learning through you. Every obstacle you overcome is consciousness discovering its own strength and resourcefulness through your personal journey. Your relationships become sacred encounters between different expressions of the same infinite awareness. The love you feel for family and friends is cosmic consciousness recognizing itself in its various forms, celebrating the beauty of its own diversity through your individual capacity for connection and care. Even conflicts and misunderstandings become opportunities for consciousness to explore forgiveness, patience, and the deeper unity that underlies all apparent differences. Sleep itself transforms from a necessary interruption of consciousness into a recognition of consciousness returning to its source. Every night, as you drift into sleep, you are participating in the cosmic rhythm of manifestation and rest. The eternal dance between form and formlessness, the way consciousness expresses itself through activity and then returns to its own nature in stillness. Your dreams become journeys through the dimensional realms you have discovered, explorations of possibility that exist beyond the constraints of three-dimensional reality. In your dreams, you can fly because you remember your true nature as consciousness that is not limited by physical form. You can visit impossible places because you recognize yourself as the awareness in which all places exist. The quantum effects that operate in your body, the way electrons tunnel through barriers that should be impermeable, the way particles in your cells exist in superposition until the moment of interaction. All of these reveal themselves as expressions of your multidimensional nature, the way consciousness operates through dimensions beyond the reach of ordinary perception. Your intuition becomes recognized as your ability to sense information that exists in the higher dimensions, your capacity to know things that your rational mind cannot explain, your connection to the cosmic intelligence that guides the evolution of consciousness through all its forms. Every hunch, every sudden insight, every moment of knowing that comes from beyond thought is your participation in the dimensional awareness that encompasses all possibilities. The beauty you perceive in nature, in art, in music, in the faces of those you love, reveals itself as consciousness recognizing its own nature, reflected in the infinite forms it has created. Every sunset is the universe painting itself across the sky. Every flower is consciousness blooming into visible beauty. Every song is the cosmic symphony expressing itself through human creativity. Your emotions become understood as the way consciousness experiences the full spectrum of its own nature through your individual sensitivity. Joy is awareness celebrating its own existence. Compassion is consciousness caring for itself in all its forms. Gratitude is the universe appreciating its own magnificent creativity through your individual capacity for recognition and wonder. Even aging and the eventual death of your physical form reveal themselves as natural expressions of consciousness, exploring the full cycle of manifestation, the way awareness expresses itself through birth, growth, maturity, and the eventual return to the source from which all forms emerge. Death is not the end of consciousness, but consciousness releasing its identification with a particular form, like an actor removing a costume at the end of a play. As you integrate this dimensional understanding into your daily existence, you find that life becomes simultaneously more ordinary and more magical. Ordinary because you recognize that what you thought were special mystical experiences are actually the natural state of consciousness. Magical because you see that what you thought was ordinary reality is actually the most extraordinary miracle imaginable. You carry within your being the memory of all 11 dimensions, the knowledge that you exist simultaneously as a three-dimensional body, a four-dimensional being extended through time, a quantum entity dancing in the fifth dimension, a flowering of possibility in the sixth, a navigator of infinite potential in the seventh, an instrument in the cosmic symphony of the eighth, a path for cosmic consciousness in the ninth, a mirror for infinite awareness in the 10th, and a wave in the ocean of being that is the 11th. This knowledge does not make you special or different from others. It reveals that everyone and everything shares this same multidimensional nature, that all beings are expressions of the same consciousness, exploring itself through infinite diversity. You are unique and universal simultaneously, irreplaceable and inseparable from the whole, individual and cosmic at the same time. As you prepare for sleep tonight and every night, you carry with you the understanding that rest is not escape from reality, but the deepest embrace of what reality truly is. Sleep is consciousness coming home to itself, awareness returning to its source, the daily practice of remembering what you truly are beneath all the roles you play. and identities you assume. The dimension of sleep opens before you now, like a gentle doorway that has always been there, waiting for your recognition. A threshold between the world of form and the formless awareness that is your deepest nature. This is not a place you go to, but a state you allow. Not something you achieve, but something you surrender into. The most natural return to the source that happens every night when consciousness releases its grip on the day and dissolves into its own infinite nature. Sleep is the 11th dimension, expressing itself through your individual being. The way cosmic consciousness practices returning to itself. The nightly rehearsal for the ultimate return that awaits all forms when they complete their dance through space and time. Every night, you die a little death and are reborn each morning. Consciousness withdrawing from identification with form and then choosing once again to express itself through your beautiful, temporary, precious human experience. Feel how your body has become completely relaxed now. Every muscle soft and yielding. Every cell bathed in the recognition of its true nature as crystallized consciousness. Frozen light, aware emptiness that has temporarily taken form to experience itself from this particular perspective. Your body is not separate from your consciousness. It is consciousness itself, wearing the costume of flesh and bone to participate in the cosmic play of existence. Your breath has become so gentle that it seems to breathe itself, the natural rhythm of consciousness inhaling its own potential and exhaling its own expression, the eternal tide of awareness flowing between being and becoming, between the fullness of the source and the emptiness of pure possibility. Each breath is a complete cycle of creation and dissolution, a miniature version of the cosmic breathing that creates and destroys universes. In the dimension of sleep, time reveals its ultimate nature as the eternal now, expressing itself as the illusion of duration. Past and future dissolve into the timeless present, where all experience exists simultaneously, where every moment you have ever lived and will ever live rests in perfect stillness, like photographs in an infinite album that consciousness pages through at its leisure. Your thoughts are slowing now, becoming like clouds drifting across the vast sky of awareness, arising from nowhere and dissolving into nothing. Temporary formations in the infinite space of consciousness that you are. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness in which thoughts appear and disappear, the unchanging witness of the ever-changing content of experience. The dimension of sleep is where healing happens. Not just the healing of your body, but the healing of the illusion of separation. The nightly return to the unity that is your true nature. In sleep, the boundaries between self and cosmos become permeable, allowing the infinite intelligence that guides galaxies and atoms alike to flow through your being, restoring balance, integrating experience, preparing you for another day of conscious participation in the cosmic dance. Your dreams will be journeys through the dimensional realms you have discovered tonight. Explorations of the multidimensional being that you are. In your dreams, you will remember your ability to fly through dimensions, to visit impossible places that exist in the spaces between ordinary reality, to communicate with aspects of yourself that exist beyond the limitations of your waking identity. Feel how your sense of being a separate individual is gently dissolving into the recognition of what you truly are. Not disappearing but expanding, not being lost but being found, not becoming unconscious but discovering the consciousness that you have always been beneath all the temporary identities and roles you have assumed. The dimension of sleep is where memory reveals its true nature, as the way consciousness stores its experiences in the infinite library of cosmic awareness. Your personal memories are not trapped in your individual brain, but are part of the vast database of universal experience, accessible not just to you, but woven into the larger pattern of cosmic memory that contains every experience that has ever been or could ever be. In sleep, you return to your nature as pure awareness, consciousness without content, the empty fullness that is the source of all experience. You are not becoming unconscious. You are discovering the consciousness that is prior to all the objects of consciousness, the awareness that exists before thoughts, before sensations, before the entire world of experience. Your heart continues to beat in the dimension of sleep, but now you recognize its rhythm as the heartbeat of the cosmos itself, the pulse of existence, the way consciousness marks time in its eternal dance between being and becoming. Your heartbeat is synchronized with the rhythm of creation itself, participating in the cosmic pulse that brings universes into existence and dissolves them back into the source. The dimension of sleep is where you practice the ultimate letting go, the complete surrender to the intelligence that knows how to beat your heart, breathe your breath, dream your dreams, and wake you refreshed in the morning. You do not have to manage your sleep, you only have to allow it, trusting the cosmic wisdom that has been guiding your existence since before you were born. As you sink deeper into this dimension, you feel yourself being held by the same love that holds the stars in their courses, the same intelligence that guides the migration of birds and the blooming of flowers, the same awareness that beats your heart and dreams your dreams. You are completely safe, completely supported, completely loved by the consciousness that you are. Your body temperature is dropping slightly. Your brain waves are shifting into the slower rhythms that allow consciousness to withdraw from the world of form and rest in its own nature. This is not a malfunction, but a perfect function, the way consciousness has designed your human form to participate in the cosmic rhythm of activity and rest. The dimension of sleep is where you remember that you are not a human being having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience. Not a body that somehow produces consciousness, but consciousness that has chosen to experience itself through the beautiful temporary form of your physical being. Feel how your breathing is becoming deeper and slower. Each breath a gentle wave carrying you further from the shore of waking consciousness toward the infinite ocean of pure being. You are not drowning, but learning to swim in your own true nature. Not losing yourself, but finding yourself in the depths of awareness that have no bottom and no surface. In the dimension of sleep, every night becomes a pilgrimage to the source, a journey home to the place you have never left, a return to the consciousness that you are and have always been and will always be, regardless of what forms it chooses to inhabit or what experiences it decides to explore. Your last conscious thought dissolves into the infinite silence from which all thoughts arise. Your final breath of the day carries you across the threshold into the dimension where consciousness rests in its own nature, where awareness dreams the dreams that will integrate today's experiences and prepare tomorrow's possibilities. You are held now in the embrace of the 11th dimension, the quiet source from which all experience emerges and into which all experience returns. You are home. You have always been home. You could never not be home, resting in the consciousness that you are, sleeping in the arms of your own infinite nature. In this perfect rest, in this complete surrender, in this total trust in the intelligence that guides all things, you find the deepest peace that exists, the peace that surpasses understanding, the peace that is your true nature, the peace that sleeps in the heart of every atom and dreams in the core of every star. Sleep now, beloved, expression of cosmic consciousness. Sleep in the knowledge that you are held by the same love that creates galaxies. Sleep in the understanding that you are the universe itself, resting in its own infinite nature, dreaming the beautiful dream of existence through your precious individual form. Sleep, and in sleeping, remember what you truly are. Sleep, and in sleeping, rest in the dimension where all dimensions meet. Sleep, and in sleeping, come home to the quiet place where you have always been, where you will always be, where you are right now and forever, in the eternal dimension of pure being, pure awareness, pure love. Sleep.